Joe Shaw, Aquinas College. I've chosen the yellow and orange number 8 in the footage you can see here, and I've identified some strengths and weaknesses. His first strength is strength and power. His physique allows him to run with his head up powerfully and move his body into the opponent to get out of the way of the ball, so they can't get to the ball. His heading is also a strength. He jumps up high, his eyes are kept always on the ball, and he heads downwards towards goal, which allows the keeper to not be able to get to it as efficiently. His passing is also a strength. He keeps his eye on his opponent so he knows where the opponent is. He punches through the ball to make sure it gets to his target, and he always looks at his teammate. His pace is also a strength. He pumps arms and legs powerfully and keeps his head up. He knows where his opponent is, and he can always get around his opponent. A weakness also is movement. He tends to stand still quite a lot and doesn't move for his opponent, so his opponents have less options for him to find. His dribbling's also a weakness. He tends to run into opponents often, and that sort of keeps him away. Keeps him against losing the ball. He doesn't look where his opponent is and keeps his head down towards the ball, which doesn't allow him to see where his opponent is to try and tackle him. He picks the wrong time to dribble. His work rate's also a weakness. He doesn't chase after the ball, doesn't try and win the ball back for his team at high end of the pitch, and as a striker, it's one of his key jobs. But his main weakness that I've chosen is shooting. He tends to lift his head up early, doesn't stand down next to the ball and strike through it, and his accuracy seems to go wide or over quite a lot. So he doesn't keep his knee over the ball, which means the ball's going to go higher up into the air. I've devised a training plan for shooting, which is main weakness, which will involve 6 weeks of training and a test at the start and the end. So the test at first to see where it's at is 10 balls from 10 yards, 20 yards and 30 yards, and I'll see how many can get past the goalkeeper. Doesn't matter which way he shoots or hits it, it's just he's kind of trying to score. In week 1, which is this first session of the week, we'll only be doing 1 session, and we'll be concentrating on technique, so stamping down next to the ball, keeping his knee over the ball, and striking the ball, not necessarily kicking the ball at all times, but just trying to get the technique right. Week 2 is the first session. There'll be no keeper, and we'll work on just about the edge of the box, driving the ball into the corners. I'll move some cones into the corners to see if you can try and aim for those cones, and so you can drill it into the corners and hopefully in a match that keep it away from the keeper. The second one, I'll just be looking to try and reinforce the corners with a keeper, so trying to drill it past low or high, past the keeper and out of the keeper's reach. On week 3, the first session, we concentrate on accuracy, so we'll be using inside of the foot to try and use a different technique, so either you can try and drill it with the inside of the foot or curl it into that inside of the foot. We're looking at top corners, bottom corners, but there'll be no keeper in the net. Then again, in the second session, we use a keeper, see where he's at and try and get it past the keeper. Week 4, we'll be looking at volleys. So I'll feed it into him at different angles and different heights. And he's got to try and score. Won't necessarily be a keeper again, but just try and score and get the ball on target. The second week, we'll be looking at volleys with the keeper again, and we've got to try and look to see if you can get into the corners, get it past the keeper. Any technique you can use is inside of the foot, outside laces, just trying to get it past the keeper. And then the third session that week, we'll be concentrating on running onto the ball and first time finishes. So for example, different heights, different paces on the ball. So we'll be looking at trying to strike the ball past the keeper first time, and without the keeper trying to save it. Week 5, we'll be looking at free kicks. So from different places on the field, different techniques probably will be required. So we're going to use, from closer to the box, we're going to use an inside of the foot to try and get it over the wall. Not necessarily a keeper again there, but we'll try and pretend that there is a keeper trying to look for the corners. Again we'll be trying to input a keeper later on in the session, see if you can get it past him. Further away from the box, we'll probably be looking at a drive to get the keeper working, because an inside of the foot may not be able to, may give the keeper more time to react and save. So a drive from distance would probably be better to try and score. So week 6, we'll be looking at different angles, so feeding it in different ways. So maybe in the air, maybe just him having the ball and shooting, maybe a penalty, maybe a free kick, and he can have the choice to strike any way he wants, try and put it past the keeper. This would be game related, because in a game he wouldn't choose what type of feed he would have, so it's good to get him adapting to different situations. So at the end of week 6 we'll have a test again. We'll do the first test that we did at the start to see if he's improved on that, and we'll also give him 20 balls, feeding at different heights, different paces, and see if he can score past the keeper. Health benefits of football are to relieve stress. He may meet new people and enjoy doing it, as he might have passion for football, so enjoy doing it. Should get enjoyable, so he'll see friends. There's also physical health benefits, so decreased risk of arthritis, which is good because the football is a running sport, so you can have less chance of getting arthritis. Hypertrophy of the muscles, because the jumping and the quadriceps maybe, running, maybe the gastrocnemius, and also cardiac system, so running tends to be a stamina sport, so it increases the strength of his heart, and it increases cardiac system. Heart again becomes stronger, more efficient. Running around doing the stamina would increase the heart strength. The provisions of football, we have, you've got a local provision, so like local parks that anyone could go on, play with his friends. Even from a very young age, you can go and do that with parents maybe. Local sports halls, so like local schools, local places, like local, for example, like St Joseph Primary School near my house, allows any people to come on Thursday night. So yeah, but then we can go into a national pathway, so like academies, for example, Manchester United Kicks start from a very young age, get training for young kids. Then we can move into pro clubs, so like Manchester United actual pro club. So when we're moving up through the ages, then you'll come into playing for your town, so district level. So for example, Tameside Boys, something like that. And then you may end up getting a YTS, so this pathway would be primary school starting at St Joseph's, starting with a very young age, learning the basics, and getting started of football. Local club, you could then play for a local club, so for example Reddish Vulcans, from a very young age to take players and play competitively, which is good. Then you can start playing for a pro club, so like Macclesfield Town, something like Manchester United. And as you go up through the ages, it'll become district, so Tameside Boys, Stockport Boys, and they'll play against all the districts in the area, maybe even the country. Then you could move up into a higher level, so higher ages, so like Macclesfield Boys under 16s, preparing you for open age soon. Then you could become YTS, so Macclesfield Town offer a contract for players that they believe could one day break into the first squad. So like, they play for the youth team, then they play for the reserve team, and maybe even one day the first team.